Hello, welcome to the CPaT Global Approach LMS exam generation tutorial. To begin, you will need to log into your administrative account. Once you've logged in, you'll need to access the Lessons tab. Once here, you'll need to click the Add New Exam or Lesson button located in the top right-hand corner. Once the pop-up appears, select Exam, and then click Create Exam. From here, you will find three options: Exams, Questions, and Question Banks. We will begin the video by discussing questions. By selecting questions, the exam system will direct you to the question database. The database only houses client-created questions. When the questions first populate, only the first 20 questions in the system will display. To display all questions, click the Load All button, which will allow you to see all of the client-created questions. Please note, while clients have access to CPaT's library of aircraft training questions, they will not be displayed in this database. The question selection only shows questions that you have created. To create a new question, click the green New button. This will allow you to create the title and select the type of question. Please note, although it is not necessary to include a year, your questions should follow a similar format to name of organization, topic, and question number. You can select from 3 different types of questions. There are Boolean, also known as true or false, fill in the blank, and multiple choice. We will begin with creating a multiple choice question. To enter the body for your question and answer choices, you will need to press the green Update button. After you press Update, you will be taken to the question's information page. The display name will be the name that appears when you run reports in the LMS, and it also can be the same or different from your question title, depending on your preference. You will type your question in the question field. You will enter your answer choices here. You can have up to 8 answer choices per question. Notice that the correct answer is marked as 1, and answer 1 is highlighted in green. All incorrect answer choices are highlighted in red. You can modify the correct answer by selecting a different option from the drop-down menu. After filling in the information to create your multiple choice question, you have to be sure to click the Update button, as this will be sure to save your question to the database. Once you have all of your answers inputted, you can go ahead and click the Update button. Once the Update button is selected, we can go back and create another question by clicking the Question List button at the top of the question view page. This will return you to the question database, where you can press the green New button again. Now we will create a Boolean true or false question. Input the title of your question and then select the green Update button. Once Update is selected, you can type the body of your question here. Once the question is written, you will then select the correct answer. Its opposite will appear as the incorrect answer. You have the choices between true or false, yes or no, likely or not likely, and on and off. Be sure to click the Update button. To create another question, we're going to go back to the question list, and this will take us back to the question view page. Now we will create a fill-in-the-blank question. As always, be sure to enter the title of your question, along with selecting the type. And again, click the Update button, and now you will be able to input your question. Please note you'll have two text fields separated by a blank line that will represent the blank in your question. You can write text in both or just one of the fields as appropriate. Next to the answer, you will write the correct answer that you expect your users to write. In the acceptable fields, you will write any answers that should also be accepted as correct. Once those are included, click the Update button and go back to the question list. To view or modify a question, first locate the desired question in the list. Once you have located the question, click on it. Once it is highlighted blue, click the blue View button, which will return you to the question creation screen where you can modify the question, answer choices, and even question type. Just be sure to click the Update button if you do make any modifications. By clicking Main Menu, we will return to the exam system home page. We will now discuss question banks. Question banks are how exams are built. You can create a different bank of questions that you can insert into each exam. By selecting question banks, the exam system will direct you to the question bank list, which contains all of your current question banks. To create a new question bank, click the green New button. This will allow you to enter the title for the new question bank. To build the question bank, click the Update button. After you press the Update button, you will be taken to the Question Bank Info Options tab. Please note, it typically takes the exam system a few seconds to load the question bank, so allow it time to process. Once the processing is complete, you'll click on the Question Bank tab. From this page, you can assign any of the questions from the available questions in the lower area. Tip: you can use Shift-click to select multiple questions at once and then click the Assign button. Once you have selected your questions, click the green Assign button. The question that you selected will now appear in the Assigned Questions area and will no longer be displayed in the red Available Questions area below. Again, please note it typically takes the LMS a few seconds to make these modifications. If you wish to remove a question from a question bank, click on the question you wish to remove and then click the Unassign button. The question that you select to remove will no longer appear in the Assigned Questions area and will now be displayed in the Available Questions area. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to assign some additional questions just so we have to reference. Again, the LMS takes a few seconds to load and to add these questions to your question bank. Now that you have all of the desired questions in your question bank, we will click Main Menu to return us to the exam system home page. We will now discuss exams. By clicking the Exam button, the exam system will direct you to the exam database, where existing exams will be listed in alphabetical order. To create a new exam, you will start on the exam database page and click the green New button. This will allow you to create and enter the title of your exam. To actually build the exam, you will need to press the green Update button. After you press the Update button, you will be taken to the exam's Info Options page. To better explain how to create the exam, we will first begin on the Question Bank tab, since you would want to add question banks before deciding the exam's parameters and options. From this page, you can assign any of the question banks from the Available Question Banks section. To do so, click on the exam bank name and then click the green Assign button. The question bank that you selected will appear in the Assigned Question Banks area and will no longer be displayed in the Available Question Banks area. If you wish to remove a question bank from the exam, click on the question bank name and then click the Unassign button. The question bank will be removed from the top Assigned Question Bank section and will now be displayed in the lower area of the Available Question Banks. We will now discuss the Mandatory Questions tab. The Mandatory Questions tab allows you to select questions that each user will be required to answer each time they take an exam. Note, if you do not see the question you want to set as mandatory in the Available Questions section, please verify that the question is in the question bank that has been added to the exam. To assign a question as mandatory, select the question and then click the Assign button. To unassign a question, select the question and click the red Unassign button. The Exam Layout tab allows you to review the content of the questions you have included in the exam. The question bank column shows the question bank in which the question belongs. You may also see the question name and ID, question content, answer choices, as well as the correct answer. Kindly note, mandatory questions are highlighted in yellow, and non-mandatory questions are not highlighted and displayed below the mandatory questions. Once you are satisfied with the layout of your exam, you will access the Info Options tab, which includes the settings needed to personalize the parameters of your created exam. We will detail each of these settings, beginning with the title. The title of the exam is the name of the exam as it is found in the exam system. If you have several different fleets, you would most likely want to add the name of the respective fleet to your exam title to help you identify it within the exam system. The identifying prefix, in this example 6335, is automatically added to each exam. Each exam has its own unique 4-digit exam code. Next, the display name is what your users will see when they open the exam to start it. This can be different from the title. Keep in mind that this name has nothing to do with locating the exam within the exam system, but rather this is how you will find the exam within the LMS as a lesson. Now we will discuss number of questions. The exam system allows you to select how many questions from each question bank your users must complete in an exam attempt. For each question bank you add to the exam, you will see a number of questions row. Your users do not have to complete every single question in an exam bank. Please note, the minimum allowed value for a number of questions from that bank is equal to the count of mandatory questions for that specific question bank. Now we will discuss passing score. You will choose the minimum score that your users must have to receive credit for completing an exam. If they do not achieve the passing score, the user will be marked incomplete and will need to retake the exam to receive credit for completing the lesson. The time limit option allows you to select a time limit for the exam. If the users reached the amount of time selected, they will be kicked out of the exam and will not receive credit for working on the exam. You can randomize how your questions appear on the exam by selecting yes for both questions and answers. If you randomize questions, this means that they will appear in a random order and not in the order set in the Layout tab. This means that if a user retakes the exam, they will see a different set of questions than they saw the first time. If you randomize answers, the answer choices will appear in a different order. The Recheck Answer option allows you to control whether the user has the option to change their answer. No means that once a user selects an answer choice, they will not be allowed to change that answer choice at all. You have the following options available to you: exit upon fail, show score count. Exit upon fail will end the exam as soon as the user mathematically has no chance of achieving the minimal score. Show score will show the user their current score and will adjust after each question is answered. Show score count will count how many of the questions the user has answered correctly. Both show score and show score count appear at the bottom of the display for the exam. If you select yes for Recheck Answer and press the Update button, you will permit your users to change their answers. The following options will be available for selection: Go Previous, Next Before Answer. Go Previous concerns whether a user can return to the earlier page in their exam. Yes means a user can return to the previous questions in their exam to change their answers. No means that users can change their answers as many times as they want while they are on each question page. Hide means that the previous button will not appear at all on the exam. Users will not be able to access previously answered questions. Next before answer. Yes means the user can advance to any question in the exam by clicking the next button without answering the current question. No is the current default setting for the exam. Users must select an answer choice to be able to advance. Allow exit before end is the option of whether to allow the exit button to function during the progress of the exam. Yes, users can leave the exam. No, users cannot exit the exam before finishing. Hide, users cannot exit the exam before finishing as the button does not appear. If Auto Next is selected to be on, users will automatically advance to view the next question as soon as they click on their answer choice. If No is selected after clicking on their answer choice, users will need to press the Next button to view the following question. Display results determines whether users will be able to see their scores and view their questions and the correct answers when they have finished the exam. No will not show the users their results at the end of the exam. The users will only see the message, "You have finished the exam, please exit." Show correct, show incorrect, and show only if passed are not available. If yes is selected, the user score will be displayed at the end of the exam. You will also have the ability of the options of show correct, show incorrect, and show only if passed to determine how your users will review the results. Show correct. Yes, questions that the user has answered correctly will be displayed with their answers. No, the user will see his score but not the correct answers. Show incorrect. Yes, questions answered incorrectly will be displayed without any answers. Yes with correct. Questions the user has answered incorrectly will be displayed with their corresponding answers. Show only if pass. If yes is selected, users who have passed the exam will be able to review all of the questions on their exams and their answers. Users who have failed the exam will only see their score. They will not see any questions or answers. If yes is selected, once a user selects an answer choice, they will immediately see a message indicating whether that answer choice is correct or incorrect. If no is selected, there will be no message indicating whether the answer choice selected in the exam was incorrect or correct. If Show Question Name is selected to Yes, the corresponding display name for that question will appear on the question page. If it is selected to No, then the display name will appear on the questions page. The Show Question Counter is if selected to Yes, then each question will show what question number it is out of the total number of questions. If No is selected, then there will be no indication of which question is being done out of the total available. Send details to the LMS. This concerns what is reported via the Report User's Exam Records. Missed questions will include a list of questions the user missed in the report, if Yes is selected. Send taken to LMS will include a list of what questions the user took out of the total that are assigned to the exam, if Yes is selected. Once these settings have been configured and you are satisfied with the settings of your exam, you will click the green Update button. Once updated, you can click the Add to LMS button to add the exam to the LMS. A pop-up will appear to confirm the addition of the exam. The exam will appear in the Lesson section of the LMS. Once you go back to the LMS site, you will notice the exam is present. If you ever need to update an exam, please be sure to click the green Update button. Once you're back in the Lessons portion of the LMS, you can search for your exam, click on the exam name, and modify the number of attempts seen that will allow your students access to the exam. If left at 0, your users will have unlimited attempts on the exam. Please be sure to click the green Update button if you do change the attempt setting. As a general reminder, the exam is created as a lesson. This lesson must be added to a course before it can be added to a curriculum and assigned to students. If you have any questions concerning this process, please visit our How to Build Courseware video. This concludes the exam system how-to video. If you have any questions, please contact your client services representative. Thanks for watching.